let's continue on to, the 25th. Has anything changed here? There's Nico, me, Justin. Yeah, a lot of things can add it, but honestly, I don't see if this is really helpful in any way. Not yet, at least. Alright, but yeah, let's continue on here. I forget his voice. It's not been a day since I've done this. I'm telling you, something's seriously wrong with that place. As soon as he speaks, I'll just on Justin. Sounds like yesterday's investigation bore some fruit. I haven't had time to tell Justin about Nico's discovery yet. It seems like he's a lot of things to say right now anyway. It went better than I thought, easier too. I felt like an explorer who'd been dropped on an island. What do you mean? What are you got this metaphor? For starters, I was definitely not welcome at all. You know, there's a saying that a bigger a city or town is, the more stuck and over the proudest residents are. But this was on a whole nother level. From what I know, the Kingering district is a fairly old residential area. This makes me recall some of Deco's findings. Compared to Scarlet, she has more means to gather information. But bits and pieces are always thrown together in disarray, regardless of whether it's something important or not. Perhaps it's just a telltale sign of being a kid growing up in this day and age. I wouldn't know. I'm totally out of the loop because of that kind of stuff. These buildings were built in the 80s, and even if management changed hands and readjustments were made since then, the general profile of the residents probably remained the same. This place is different. The entire Kingering district is filled with low-rent housing units. It's just a tad more fancy than other places like that. Are there security guards in the area? No, it's extremely crowded, and I get the feeling that the residents themselves are quite observant. I don't think there's any real need for any additional security. The residents are extremely cold and not talkative at all. Most of them live in severe poverty. One of the first things I noticed was the absence of street vendors, but I quickly understood why. It's not the kind of place where people would approach each other and communicate. It's urban isolation at its peak. This information matches what Nico was saying. One of the victims, Yang, worked for the real estate company responsible for the demolition and renovation of the old housing area, right set of properties. Do you think there could be a connection? There's definitely a connection, but it's unclear. The residents are quite wary of Rice's properties employees, but what can I say? With the current amount of demolition or work happening there, that could be the reason for it. Might make the world go around. Even though potential profit that they make from the Kingering district is anything special, they can't just abandon the place, or a private company will snatch up in a heartbeat. I witnessed one of these businesses talked by myself by coincidence. The old people simply do not want to negotiate. They don't listen to any terms or offers. There's a chance in hell they'd ever budge. So you're saying the demolition plans are the main reason for the tense and strange situation there? Yeah, it's definitely a source of conflict, but it's nothing more than a back and forth of offers and rejections between the two stressed parties. Just throws a bound of dirty leaflets on the desk. The rest of the properties doesn't seem to be making much progress in the Kingering district. The current state of the neighborhood has taken into account as well. I hear your voice and you're implying something, but do you think there's more to it look into? It's not that big a discovery, but we found some further proof that connects to other victims to the Kingering district. Nico secretly peeks at the door, takes a look around, and Kat joins the conversation. Huh? Do you have a daughter? I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that. Oh, shut up. You'll only make it worse. Alright. Fine by me. But do you really think it's okay to get a kid involved in all this?
Call me a kid I did, and I'll post about you, the private detective, Justin, in 5 different forms, and make sure that you think, and people think of you as the lamest one in town. 5 different forms, you hear? I'll also, make you drink and do the drug cyanide, but, you know, do you want to die? What?
Yeah, better be listening to her. To mess with that kid is the equivalent of social suicide, believe me. I can't let out a deep sigh as I massage my head with my knuckles.
You know who might as well be dead and false by now? People who are still using Internet Explorer as their browser.
Take a screenshot of that. Oh god.
Just trying to actually download a useful browser, make me want to pour acid all over.
Oh, this is amazing. Oh boy. Oh, that's amazing. And people still use Internet Explorer. Like, oh boy. Alright, let's try to read this dialogue again without breaking character.
Just trying to download an actual...
Nope. It's not gonna happen.
Oh. Just trying to download an actual useful browser made me want to pour acid all over my hands. Yuck. How can anyone work with that thing? I can't even fathom how you would even use it to browse that forum.
Anyway, let me introduce you two. This is Justin, he's helping me out with the investigation. And this is Nico. Barely any hair on her head, but blessed with the X-ray vision and other detective-related superpowers.
Hey, are you making fun of me?
What an introduction. Seems to me like you've got a kick out of watching this fight. I'd resist. When you spend as much time as I do sitting at home, it's the little things that make you smile. Back to business. While you were out investigating the Kangaroo district, Nico managed to find some additional info on the victims.
I have records of all complaints filed in the Kangaroo district. Every single household.
Nico sits down and tears a piece of paper from her notebook.
Find the exact location of Block 214, Building 8, Apartment 412, Kangaroo. Without a detailed map was pretty difficult. But matching against some of the bigger shops, going by some rough estimates, it should be somewhere in the northeastern part. The maintenance worker was dispatched shortly after the complaint was issued. That's everything the record says, but you already know the rest of the story.
She throws the scribbled down address to Justin and tilts her head up towards me, signaling me to continue. Justin, you saw firsthand how the real estate companies and residents are at odds with each other. Right. In this case, it was definitely a Rise Sun Properties employee at the scene, no doubt about it. I found their business card, along with some brochures, scattered around the bushes on the side of the road like garbage. They seem to be quite unpopular around there. In situations like this, it's not unusual for the person in charge to intervene. In other words, it's possible for Miss Yang to have been on site at the time of the incident.
This is starting to sound more and more suspicious.
I agree. It could have happened anywhere, but the connection to the Kangaroo district is more apparent than ever. The two of them fold their arms. They look for prey that seems out of place, and then...
You say as if it's an eagle catching a rabbit.
Just told, that comparison is quite accurate. Building 8, Block 214, Apartment 12. Should I go straight to the family for further inquiries? An address that detailed might very well be a false lead or a trap. A simple phone call is probably a better idea. You can easily tell if you're on the right track that way. I'm not too sure if the residents would be willing to talk if we did that. Well, while you're trying to find a way to get them to talk, it's important to find out if they were in contact with the maintenance worker.
And try to arouse too much suspicion.
Don't worry about that. I have a few ideas. Alright then, I expect good news from you. Nico, can we trace the resident records of the Canning District?
Wouldn't Scarlet be the right person to ask for that kind of stuff?
Nico tilts her head and brushes her hair around her ears. I've already asked for a favor twice in a row, plus she's still working on another case. I don't want to interrupt her all the time. She's got enough on her plate as it is.
Well, how about I ask her instead? She might feel some empathy for me with me being stuck in this dump and all.
We might get lucky. God knows we deserve it. Sounds like you guys have your hands full. I don't want to ask. I don't want yet another person to be drawn to this. Fine by me. I'll just be as planned. I need to make some more preparations if I want to visit the residents, so I have to stop by my office first.
I gotta go backstairs to call Scarlet, so you can stay down here and watch the store.
Nico gets dust off her trousers, starts walking away slowly. Now I'm standing here alone, feeling like I'm the only one not doing anything productive. Just as Nico squeezed past many bookshelves, Nico's footsteps can be heard very clearly as she runs upstairs. What is his plan? Is he going to go into their disguise as a plumber? He can spot it and draw the wrong kind of attention in residential areas like that in an instant, but for now, I'll just put my trust in Justice's ability to pull this off. Now I think about it, I remember Scarlett's rant about professionality on Monday, and here I am now, putting my trust in a lone wolf, loose cannon private detective. Touché, Scarlet. I guess it's karma. Not sure how Scarlet will react when she hears from Nico. I pick up the leaflet Justin brought and try to envision Scarlet's perplexed expression. Actually, Justin had no intention to disguise himself as a plumber. Using the information he gathered from the morning, he quickly works a fake ID from the water company. He throws the small piece of plastic in his briefcase before it has any time to cool off properly. That alone should be enough. Nobody changes costume. When faking identity is more important to make the other person believe it's real than actually looking like the real thing. After the first suspicion subsided, everything goes smoothly. If he does it any other way, he might get himself in trouble. In order to make a living as a private detective in society, you need to be a good actor, just to quickly accept the fact and master this disability. Once he completely able to do so, he started getting more and more ideas. As it turns out, he was quite good at identity theft, which shakes him up just a little bit. Either way, it doesn't hurt in the current investigation. With a hidden elegance, Justin sets foot in the neighborhood once again. Building 8, Block 214. Only at Block 168, 169, 170, 71. Even though the area is almost abandoned, there's still some work going on. Wouldn't it simply be more practical if they all had a door number, even if for the sake of the residents? South-north, from east to west, Justin gradually continues to search along the narrow street, getting a feeling for the place. Sure enough, northeast corner of the residential area, the buildings are becoming more and more run down along the way, and after they give way to a large construction sites, their home begins and no longer hidden. 212, 214, is this it? It's a sign of commitment that the plumber named Louis found this location in the first place. Although his dedication didn't pay off as well as it should have, surprisingly, tech spots all sort of creative house modifications along the way. On the other hand, there aren't any sign of advertisements or company posters around the buildings, or at least not outside. The building even has a decent door with a combination lock. It doesn't actually close, though, and the roof-proof's paint is peeling off. A brick is placed in the doorway, creating a certain gap so the door won't shut. The brick itself is covered in a thin layer of dust. It looks like it hasn't moved for quite a while. Justin looks at the fourth floor. The windows are closed tightly, so he can't see inside. Even though it's the middle of the day, the light is dim. He has no choice but to go upstairs and have a look around. The detective takes the work ID out of his bag, attaches his shirt, and pushes the door open, stepping into the hallway. The damp, dusty scent of the house really makes you realize how old this building is. The doors on your side are closed and protected by solid iron bars. Thick cobwebs take a considerable amount of space, so this place was probably abandoned a long time ago. The fourth floor looks more decent, at least a little cleaner. It takes Justin some time to figure out which side of the apartment is 412, or is 412 is on from the barely visible pencil marks on the wall. A knock on the door goes unanswered. Doesn't seem like anybody's home. He tries to peer through the hallway into the apartment, but the angle is narrow that he can't see much, except that there might be a kitchen on the other side of the window. The detective is a little disappointed and lets out a long sigh and leans against the wall. I should go... In such an old place, the paint in the walls can be flaky, but it isn't until his back's pressed right against it that Justin remembers this. Even though he acts quickly, it's too late. Just away from the wall and takes off his jacket to observe the back of it. The warm, brown fabric is completely covered in white, dusty paint. It doesn't look like it'll come out anytime soon. After days of running around, and the only result being a messed up jacket, the detective feels rage flare up in his chest. Shit. Huh? That can't be right. It's as if he leaned to the wall really hard. These marks would have been too fresh. If the wall's covered in dust, that would have fallen onto the jacket first instead of the white layer that went straight into the fabric instead. It's still he care about the clothes, just crouches down and expects the wall. But surprisingly, scratches appear every few steps along the wall, although they don't seem brand new. They didn't happen too long ago. Someone's carrying something heavy, which scraped against the wall, while it was dragged across the stairs. Justin tracks it carefully, discovering that they are continue all the way up and down the stairs. Interesting. The marks leading downstairs will most likely lead out of the building eventually, so it makes more sense to follow those that lead upstairs. Let's see. The truck chews all the way to the top floor. It seems a bit odd for such a cheap building to have 7 floors. Since the marks lead all the way from the ground floor to the top of the building, it's unlikely the object was being carried came from inside of one of the apartments. Quite a discovery, and yet it's locked. The door leading up to the rooftop is locked by steel chains blocking the way. The drag marks on the wall come to an abrupt end here. So what should I do now? We're gonna look at the door. What's the difference between these two? Just crouches down and checks the door handle. The chain, as thick as a little finger, is wrapped tightly around the handle, secured by a steel lock. The chain is rusty, but the metal links are still shiny. Someone has been using this lock, and not infrequently. Just examines the keyhole. The horizontal hole in the shape of a number 1 indicates it's rather odd. The detective pulls out a wire from his pocket busy with the lock. After stepping into this business, he somehow learned the basics of lockpicking. However, the lock is pretty rusty. Opening it with nothing more than a tiny piece of metal proves more difficult than he thought. God, he won't budge. The fire instrument in his hand could take much more force. He'll have to use another tool to get the door open. If he happened to bring lubricant with him, there might have been a chance, but just isn't that much professional. The sturdy chain looks like it could be broken easily. He hasn't found anything that could damage it, and there is nothing he can do with just small wire. Just finally comes to the conclusion that there's no way he could open that lock right now. Just pushes the door lightly with one hand, check its state. The door looks very worn, but what he feels isn't beneath the flaky paint. The door is made of rusty metal panels. You'll find this kind of construction in bike sheds and the like, but very rarely in apartment buildings. After all, a metal fence is lighter and solves the security issue just as well. 3 hinges are screwed into the wall, and the door properly leads to the roof. A glimmer of light falls through the gaps at the top and bottom of the door. The detective continues to push against it, and the door makes creaking sound, advancing outwards a little. The chain begins to tense, preventing him from opening it up any further. Even then, there's no sufficient gap. A small metal plate sticks out along the right side, blocking the view. The design is often used in closets, but this is clearly the wrong place to have implemented that. Justin tries to squeeze the door open a little further and catches a glimpse of the bright, warped view outside. His field of vision is limited, but there seems to be a simple shed on the roof. Other than that, all you can see is a water tower somewhat further away. It looks like a pigeon shed, popular with some of the more organized communities. One of Justin's childhood memories includes a flock of birds flying overhead. However, if it were just a pigeon coop, would it be necessary to lock everything up so tightly? Since there are no traces on the wall, maybe there's something by the door. Just takes 2 steps back, lowering his gaze and looking around. The floor is cleaner than expected, but the corners of the wall are still covered up in dust. It really does seem as if 2 residents lived here. Otherwise, the dust would probably be laced with some hair or household waste. Just strikes a finger across the wall, and it comes away gray. It's the same with all the way along the stairs. On the bottom, the door is cleaner, but that proves nothing. Naturally, there's little possibility of dust accumulating where the wind passes through the cracks. There's no point checking any further, so Justin claps his hands together and stands up again. Who are you? What do you want? What are you doing? Huh? While Justin is contemplating his discovery, a voice issues from behind him. He tries to resist the urge to turn around immediately, taking a big gulp of air and trying to control his expression. Are you a resident here? I'm with the water company. I want to see if anything is wrong with the water tower in this building, but... Oh, it's a girl. I need to give her a more girlish voice then. The older woman's skeptical look interrupts his impulse to continue his story. She doesn't say anything more, but stares at the work badge on the detective's chest. Time has left quite a mark on her body. She is tall and thin, and must be around 60. Her hair is streaked with white. After a long moment, she turns around and begins to walk away. So come down from there. Oh. How do I do an evil old voice? Evil old female voice.
That lock won't open, so come down from there.
Who's that? Is that someone different?
Lorraine, what's going on? Who's this young man?
Back from the 4th floor, another smaller, elderly lady turns up. She seems to be the same age as the woman called Lorraine, perhaps a little younger. But the old woman in front of him is walking slowly. Justin catches a glimpse from where the second woman came from. Apartment 412. It's now or never. He has to act his part, just swallows nervously and clears his throat. Sorry to interrupt, but do any of you two know who lives in apartment 412?
She does. What can she do for you?
The tall, thin woman glances at her neighbor, obviously not intending to step out of the hallway. They both seem wary, so Justin pulls some documents out of the briefcase and hands them over. There are forged work permit and some fake records. No, but let me explain. I'm Sasha, a new employee at the Newford Water Conservatory. I'm an employee at the Newford Water, and I came here to check on the status of our service. Are you Miss Hewing, the lady who called her service hotline to request a pipe repair? They found that name on the deceased. Did they spell deceased? Maybe. Oh. Then you found the name on the chief maintenance worker's work order, and this might be a good opportunity to gain some trust. Boom cheerfully nods.
Hi, yes, I did call you, but no one came.
Well, my apologies for the inconvenience. It's an inconvenience, but on a completely different level. So the worker over review school, good place to start. In fact, we did some while you guys over, but he never turned the company after he left. I thought he was just skipping work. I didn't expect him to not finish his assignments. Just puts on a rehearsed, apologetic expression and bends his head. I am truly sorry. Retreat to advance is a useful trick. Appropriate since a sincere posture and exaggerated expression, but don't let the others know what you're doing.
No worries, boy. It's not your fault.
Hal's understanding look is just what Justin was aiming for. The tall, thin woman who's been watching him so indifferently up until now seems to have finally let her guard down. The detective finally feels the tension in his back subside. No, it was really our company's mistake. Several days without any maintenance must have been really convenient. We'll find a way to compensate you for your trouble.
Oh, well, forget it. You already apologized, haven't you?
The woman ushers the detective forward. Justin quickly decides to strike while the iron's hot. I'm very sorry. Would it be alright if I took a look at the place where the repairs are needed? I still have to fill out some paperwork for the company and confirm that situation before I can set you up with a new maintenance worker. As far as I can tell, the pipes in the kitchen are clogged, correct?
That's right. My kitchen's a mess at the moment. So why don't you just take notes?
Well, I'm sorry, miss, but I can only arrange the most suitable service for you if I can have a close look at what's going on.
Alright, I'll show you the kitchen.
The old woman smiles somewhat helplessly and sighs, taking out a key from her breast pocket and unlocking the door.
Hal, it's not safe to let strangers enter your apartment. It's okay. Why don't you come in too, Lorraine? That's not what I meant. It'll only take a minute. Come on, young man. This way.
The thin woman doesn't follow in the apartment. She just watches from the outside door as Justin follows Hal into her home.
Don't worry about it. Lorraine has a bit of a temper.
Oh, no worries. She seems to be quite concerned about you, which certainly isn't a bad thing. The room isn't large, and the walls are yellowed. The wooden door creaks on its hinges. The kitchen is to the right of the entrance. It is littered with onions, vegetable leaves, and folded plastic piled in a small hill. The rustic decor reminds Justin of his old home. It has been a long time since he went to see his grandmother. Even though he's in the middle of investigations, he can't stop thinking about trivial matters like that.
She's always fussy. She just can't let things go. We're the last two people living in this building, and lived here for far too long. Even if somebody broke in, they probably wouldn't find us.
The woman leads Justin across the kitchen, opens the cabinet under the kitchen sink. Broken pipes must be there. Justin crouches by the counter and pulls out a flashlight out of his bag, peering into the cabinet.
I'll just leave you here alone for now. We just got back from the grocery store, and she was hungry all the way home.
You two eat together often? Do you two eat together often?
It's a lot of trouble to cook for one person every day, so we decided to share our meals. Lorraine's son used to bring by some meat and vegetables. She'd put everything in a pot and stew until it was unrecognizable. Quite a waste if you ask me. But she can't eat that much on her own in the first place, so we're sharing.
Sounds like the two of you had a good relationship.
In any case, she's on and never have left, and David hasn't come back yet. Whether that's a good relationship or just a hard life, you tell me.
Yes. Justin grunts as he reaches out with one hand to fill the pipes. It's completely dry around the pipes. Even an amateur will be able to tell if the pipe's leaking, however mild or heavy the damage. In case of leak, small leftovers in the pipe would be filling the whole room, keeping anyone from stepping foot in it voluntarily. But there isn't a single trace of a leak.
How does it look? Can it be fixed?
It's Oh, huh. It's fine. I mean, there shouldn't be any problems. There's our problem in the first place. That doesn't seem to be wrong now. So, of course, there's nothing repaired. The question is, does the woman know about this or not? Justin only expected the kitchen to play his role as plumber, and to get the old woman to trust him. Now, even though he's won their trust, he only encounters completely different issues. The detective needs to get back to his feet and continue his act. Yeah, the pipes themselves seem fine. Maybe the water pressure isn't as it should be. That could be affecting the kitchen as well. I'd like to see what the pipes look at. Is there another drain in your home?
The only drain I have is in the bathroom, and everything seems working fine back there.
Let me think. I don't want to do that yet. I think, yeah, let's do the kitchen. Let's just do these linearly. Might as well. Excuse me. Could you step aside one moment? Just close the cabin's door and expects the kitchen sink from above. There's some sort of odor coming from it, but it isn't very intense. Kind of the smell of, like, garlic and meat. The two women seem to have quite the appetite. Not kind of a food situation that most residents area would be used to. There's a bit of a blockage here. Do you usually flush the garbage down?
There's always some leaves left over from washing vegetables. I couldn't clean them all up because my eyesight isn't that good.
Okay. That should be okay. The smell doesn't come from washing vegetables. The woman said that she cooks meat dishes for a neighbor. There's also a obvious stench of garlic. Those two ingredients would have been treated completely different times during the cooking process. So how can they stand out together so clearly now? That really can't be it. You don't normally use sink for ducking feathers or anything like that, do you? Those tiny, fluffy feathers can be very easily stick to the inside of the pipe along with the blood. That could cause a problem.
No, I just clean the meat. Wash away the blood and leave it to marinate. For a while, the smell was unbearable, so I used to pour boiling water down the drain.
That doesn't seem the problem then. Could you show me the bathroom? If the kitchen pipe itself is fine, there could be a problem elsewhere. The dirty water might end up bottled somewhere else, so it might be risen upwards instead. It'd be wise to check the drain in the bathroom is affected. That way it can be easier to find out which part of the pipe is causing the problem, and we can send someone along to repair it.
Of course. It's just by the living room.
The woman gets the bag in her hand and turns towards the doorway. The apartment itself is quite humble, and so is the bathroom. The green and white floor tiles are exactly the ones at Justin's grandparents' place. The bathroom has no shower, only a simple floor drain with a plastic bucket next to it, and it can be the custom in some more traditional Asian households. The style of toilet is also quite old, although the cover had been obviously replaced at some point, since it looks stripped at the base. Apart from the typical bathroom smell, something doesn't seem quite right. For a moment, don't think Justin can make out the smell of detergent. The detective takes a breath, turns on a flashlight, and crouches to inside the bathroom floor. Small clumps of hair are tangled around the drain. Not common for a bathroom, but generally speaking, the hair would gather because it becomes tangled up. However, in this case, it seems to be stuck together in bunches. Doesn't seem to be a blockage here either. It pretends to be expecting the drain on the floor, moving a little side to block the woman's view. He secretly picks up a bundle of hair. That's always better to be safe than sorry. Not caring about the fact that it's dirty and wet, the detective seeks hair into his sleeve and turns towards the old woman again.
We'll have to bring the right tools next time we dig anything that's in the pipe.
The woman crosses her arms behind her back thoroughly, while Justin clasps his hand together and leaves the bathroom. Just use some starting cleaning products at a time. You can simply ask for them at the store. They're selling them everywhere now. After exchanging some casual advice, the detective ranches the kitchen with the old woman. Do you know if anyone has the key to the rooftop? I'd like to see if something's affecting the water tower. The sewer water systems are independent from each other, and so have nothing to do with the water tower, but Justin decides to take a risk in hopes that Heidi doesn't know that.
The water tower? We don't know who put that lock in that door either. I don't know when that chain was fastened there. A while ago, some neighbors came by to help spread insecticide to kill those cockroaches. They tried to go up there, but they weren't able to cut through the chains. You need a pair of large pliers.
Really? I was just upstairs and it looked like there was a pigeon coop up there. Don't pigeon keepers check it every so often?
That shit was dead many years ago, pal. And an old man used to go up there and take care of the pigeons, but it's just entirely empty, and no one keeps an eye on it. Last year was a typhoon, and the sound up there was horrible. I couldn't sleep all night.
Do you know who has the key by chance?
I don't know. It's just the two of us live in this building, as someone must have locked it while paying attention. I'll have to go to the neighbor council to ask them.
The neighbor council seems like to be an unwelcome of people like us asking them questions.
Don't take it personally. They understand one in general.
The one raises her hand dismissively. Doesn't look like anything much more worth investigating. Staying too long might arouse suspicion, so just decides to leave the kitchen. Well, I'll just ask a specialist to check the dish in the sink. I'll cover someone's over, so please be a little patient.
Don't worry. Worst case scenario is I'll simply cook out of the reins.
The woman shuffles towards the girl door as if she's intending to call her friend. Justin follows the woman and prepares to leave the apartment. Perhaps because of the perspective he had when he entered the apartment, but it's only now that I notice the photograph in the hallway. The photo sticks in the white flame and the glass spotless, but the photo paper inside is yellow on the page. And that photo, a young family of three is facing the camera, smiling happily, even though their expressions are a little forced. The only woman in this picture looks like a younger version of Heidi. The picture was probably taken about 30 years ago. There are some strange scratches on the faces of the two adults, as if someone erased the ink with a hard object.
What's the matter? Do you know my David?
Sorry. I just happened to see it and thought it looked familiar.
Yeah, that's okay. If only my David were as polite as you.
Is David your son?
As if a blink of an eye, he turned from a little boy into a man he doesn't even want to come visit. You don't want to be like him.
I'm not sure that's true. You're just exaggerating.
Are you done? He checked everything and said there's a way to fix it.
The tall, skinny woman does not seem off her spot since we're in the apartment. Staying true to the role he's playing, Justin decided to speak to her. May I ask your name?
Lorraine Pearl.
Miss Pearl, okay if I flicked your kitchen as well? I'm worried that might be affecting the whole pipe system.
My kitchen is fine. You've checked Heidi's kitchen, so you can leave now.
That...
Lorraine, he's actually very kind. He doesn't want to call the company. It has nothing to do with me. Hey, watch your temper.
It seems pretty difficult to get past her stubbornness. There's no need to push forward our way. Better just step by step. Don't worry about it. Well, start in no time. I'm sorry I've taken so much of your time. I'll head back to the company and arrange for someone to take care of this.
I'll come with you. I have some trash anyway.
Oh, no problem. Let me help with your bags. Lorraine seems to approve of Justice Gunn's words as they pick up the bags and walk down the stairs. Just speculates as to what he should say next, but the woman's indifferent attitude towards him leaves him at a loss for words. It isn't until last few flight stairs that she breaks silence.
Your company's really dedicated.
We're just trying to do a good job and improve our service wherever we can.
Still, there isn't wrong with the kitchen, is there?
Her voice is cold. What's that supposed to mean? The detective wonders where her intentions can be. The woman has never tried to conceal her wariness or hostility towards him. In such a chaotic neighborhood, treating strangers like that seems almost normal, but Justin has a feeling that things aren't that simple. She doesn't want anyone else to have too much contact with Heidel, let alone herself, but in the end, she wasn't too forceful in stopping her, an attitude that leaves the detective confused about the relationship the two of them share. In any case, Justin finds a way to deal with her attitude right now. He tries to formulate a sentence in his head. How should she respond? I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I think let's just stick to our disguise here. It seems you already looked at the kitchen yourself. Yes, it's true that the problem is not in the actual plumbing. Another blockage would smell and create a leak, neither of which I've noticed. But it also could be an ignition that affects the entire building. The wire network itself has a limited lifespan, and once it is aged to a certain degree, it can cause a lot of problems. So it may be necessary to do a survey of pumps and so on, and I'll have to call someone in for that, since I can't do all the work alone. Is everything really fine in your apartment? If I may say, I'd still like to.
There's no need for that. She called you guys just to see your son.
That can't be right. Mr. Lucy actually,
Of course not. No one could have known who'd you send.
Then why did she?
Heidi's a bad person. Did I really need to spell it out for you? The kitchen is fine, the rooftop is fine, and if you still want to check the pumps, have it your way, but you'd be wasting your time.
Lauren ignores Jessica's conversation as she continues towards the door on the ground floor. The trash can's outside the door, backed up against a dried-up flower bed. She lifts the plastic bag with a grunt and then drops into the metal bin.
I'm sure she told you about her son David, but I'm afraid she'll have to prepare a wreath if she really wants to see him. In fact, she's the only member of your family now.
In other words, she didn't call her company to have their kitchen repaired.
I'm sorry about the repairman, but it's a good thing he didn't show up.
But why would you do this?
It's been rough lately.
The woman shakes her head impatiently.
On your way over, you must have seen some real estate guys knocking on doors and handing out flyers, right? They've been annoying the whole neighborhood lately.
Just didn't say anything like that. With the previous site manager leaving, it did come as a surprise that rising some properties would have changed their tactics. Sounds as if you're not too happy with those people. Are they bothering you too?
That's a nice way of putting it. They're the type of people who only care about money. Whatever you say to them, their only thought would, be not enough money.
They sound like vultures.
Thanks to them, there's been a flurry of activity now, even at our place. People come knocking on our doors every now and then, and at all hours of the day and night.
They shouldn't be doing that, especially to elderly residents.
This place is already a mess, but thanks to them. A lot of new faces moved to the area, and many strange people were caught up in this. One day, went to buy some groceries and saw a homeless man sleeping on our rooftop. Heidel was so shocked that she almost got sick. Luckily, the guy was probably just looking for a place to sleep and didn't try to break in or anything.
Paul continues, sounding deeply annoyed, while Justin quietly throws the trash bin and closes the lid.
In any case, Heidel has been more nervous ever since. If I'm not with her, I'm always afraid that someone might break in.
So, that's why she called us? I'm sorry, I'm not really sure I understand.
Her husband wasn't a good person. He came from overseas, and I heard that they're often criticized for their loud arguments and domestic violence. We haven't been living here long, and since she's the only one left her family now, I wonder if she's got the nerve to move here all by herself. Anyway, thinking of how she feels, and stop worrying about the call.
Okay, well, it sounds as if people are from the company coming over might add unnecessary stress to the situation, right?
I'm glad you understand that.
In that case, I will find a way to explain the situation to the company, and if all goes well, you shouldn't have to worry about our division coming to bother you anymore.
I'll keep that in mind.
After watching the detective carefully for nearly half a minute, Lorraine finally wipes away the dust from her hands and turns her into the building. That is a sigh of relief. The unexpected situation becomes so heated. The homeless man, the maintenance worker, that can't be explained away as a mere coincidence. The building is odd in every sense. It's a pity that the afternoon investigation seems to have failed in guards to find clues that are definitely related to the murder. Just craned his neck up to the fourth floor. A window's opened, and smoke is drifting out of it. If there were truly smoking pipes, those two women would not be using the kitchen as casually they are right now. The site confirmed what Lorraine said before. But did they really never see the plumber who take a look at it? I'm discovering one lie already. Detective can't be sure of the truthfulness of that claim either. I should go back and explain the situation to others first. Just pats the dust from the kitchen cabinet off his coat and leaves the residential area.
Just say it how it is.
Did I give Scarlett the same voice as the old girls? I might have. I feel like... I mean, hers was more of a, do you want to die?
Do you want to die?
Oh, maybe I did. That's fine. Let's do you on here.
Just say how it is. You're basically asking me to condone child labor. Oh, the nerve of you.
Scarlett's annoyed tone of voice is easily discernible, even over the phone. The way in which she's trying to sound ironic must be an attempt at humor. But it's a very bad attempt. You know, this is beyond my control. If I had known things turned out this way, I would avoid it altogether. You know I just want the best for Nico, right?
Damn it. You make it so hard for me to be angry at you.
She lets out a long sigh, which sounds more hopeless than angry.
Anyway, you need more information about the Kangaroo district, right? I'll see what I can find. Just don't get your hopes up. I'll talk to someone from the city's planning department. They might have some files lying around that could be of use.
Thanks, Scarlett. You're a big help.
Just remember, you owe me one.
You're always on the lookout for weird indications of the city, aren't you? Well, this is one, and it's really interesting.
Not if it culminates in a work overdose. I'm a human too, you know. 2 legs, 1 mouth, all that. I can't run around say 24 hours a day talking to everyone. By the way, you have your hands quite full, right? Wanna come pick up Nico? Don't expect me to keep watch the liar, though.
It's always tough for me to hold back when she shows her honest and caring side. Thanks for all for black manage for now. We should talk about the case some more. If this case is really as dangerous as you think, that danger will come knocking on our door sooner rather than later. That means we need to make the most time we have left before that happens and find out as much as possible. That's why Nico's help is invaluable. As for Justin, well, he's still quite young, but he's still very capable. And I think it's possible for him to... what's that about me? Did you miss that much? My middle phone call. Just steps to Hermitage. Speak of the devil. I'll talk to you later, okay? I hung up and looked at Justin. He looks very exhausted. I was wondering when you'd return. And what news to bring? Why are you covered in dust? He looks a bit flustered, and layer of dust and residue covers his clothes. He looks like he's hugged one wall too many at the construction site. I'll tell you later. Where's Nico? Isn't she around? She's upstairs, probably working and tinkering something. You know her. She's bound to go rabbit if we interrupt her now. So let's just wait until she comes down her own. So what's up? You sound like you're in a hurry. I found enough clues to the scene, and I need help gathering info. If you two weren't lying when you hyped up your skills, this would be a perfect moment to put them to good use. If it's career related, I don't know a single thing about that, except Nico decide if she's on board. What it is you think she can find for you? It's a little more than described there, to be honest. I needed to install microcams in a few spots in the Kangaroo district. You think she can handle that? Hey, that sounds pretty damn sketchy to me. But the state that district's in, no security surveillance around there, but it could really help me confirm something, so I figured with no surveillance system in place, why not create our own? What do you think? Does that sound like something we could pull off? If you ask me, it's something
Real-time monitoring is just wishful thinking, isn't it? CCTV is a very demanding signal. There aren't many public places around that we could draw power from. The whole power grid must be a gazillion years old. It's not a miracle they have electricity over there. Expecting quality video is something else entirely.
I hadn't even thought that far ahead.
We have to hack into the grid to make sure the video quality is good enough. Once we're done, we can just pull it out of the system, and it'll be as if we were never even there.
That's fine by me. Just as long as you get the footage of the place on a monitor. So, how do we do that?
Simple. First you go out there and buy a bunch of cheap phones.
Excuse me? The sudden unexpected request surprised Detective, but Nico ignores him and keeps talking.
Chinese one's the best. Big enough batteries in those. Nowadays, you don't really need to worry about the camera quality. It's gonna take some time to set up, but if you can get me the phones for dinner, I can have it all ready by tomorrow.
I still don't quite get your plan, but sure, leave it to me. I get those phones. It's not really that complex of a plan. It's duct tape some phones to a wall and live stream them. Or even just set up like a... Technically, you could have... Well, can you use FaceTime on a computer? Because if you could do that, you could technically, like, if you have 16 phones, you could just FaceTime them all to a computer, and you'd have, like, 16 different cameras you could look at. You could also do a screen capture on the screen as well as record it that way as well. But yeah, that wouldn't be terribly hard. And if you can't do it with a computer, that would be a bit harder. At the very time you'd have real-time surveillance, you wouldn't have recorded. But you would definitely have real-time surveillance, at the very least. But yeah, that doesn't seem that complex, to be honest. You two are playing a car right now? You're aware of that, right? Nico, at least ask him what his plan is before he let him drag into this.
I'm used to handling trouble, you know that.
That's not what I wanted to hear. No need to be nervous. To be clear, the target of our observation is an old residential building. Lots of new and familiar faces have been popping around there lately. Alright, what about the household that called about the pipes? Was there an actual problem?
There is a problem,
but it's much more complicated. Here's a false alarm. The old woman lived there felt threatened, but the real estate company was uneasy. Well, I'm sure all of that turns out to be a false alarm. Me too. It's hard to tell what's true right now. The building itself gave me lots of reasons to be suspicious. Someone dragged something from the hallway. Messed up the walls all the way to the roof, too.
What's on the rooftop?
I don't know. The door to the rooftop is still off the chain. That thing's probably stick as your arm.
Wow, yeah, that's very suspicious indeed.
That's why I wanted to see for myself if there's really only two people living in the entire building. You think there's something else on the roof? There's a pigeon shed on it. Call it intuition. But if that's the only thing up there, the owner wouldn't have still door the gigantic chain. That's probably true. The building has 7 floors. There's lots of space to hide all kinds of things. None of the surrounding buildings are that high. That means you can do whatever you want on the roof without attracting attention, as long as you keep your noise down. It's too cold and windy up there for anyone to actually live there. Also, even if you find a way to avoid the two women all the time, sticking around surveillance cameras would be next to impossible. You seem very certain about the killer's location. If Plumber did really die there, that makes everyone in the entire neighborhood a suspect. Locking something up there isn't as unusual thing in that area. The two old women don't know anything about it. They once saw a homeless guy sleep up there, but that's all. Nothing's reported since then. First victim? That's a possibility. Definitely worth looking into.
And you're sure about two old women? In place to run down, there's gotta be a lot of reason they're the only ones living there. Calling someone just because you wanna feel safe sounds pretty far-fetched to me.
I can't see any valid reason that they'd want to have murdered a plumber. The whole thing took effort and planning. You still remember the 3 bodies are found, don't you? It's quite a physical feat to drag them to where they're found, not to mention wrap them up like that. And those strange wounds. What would have been the point of that? From what he told us, something was dragging all the way up to the rooftop, or down from the rooftop. Either way, it would have been pretty difficult to do all by yourself.
Even for 2 people.
Young people these days can't imagine how horrible it is when your knees and hips creak and ache with every step.
Okay, you're old. I get it.
So what do you think? I'm still not sure. Although, what you're saying sounds like it could definitely be the location where the murder took place. So I'd say we go with your plan. We need more time, tools, plans, and can't expect residents to be dumb, deaf, and blind. We need to work carefully. Should I expand my search? All of them were killed in brutal fashion, bodies chopped up, their parts weren't stone about, so the killer must have transported them in one go. Whether it was involved two or not, that fact, the body, that moving through bodies is bound to leave a trace. Rice on properties police don't walk door to door with unnecessary equipment to make bodies disappear like that. We should ask people if they've noticed anything suspicious. Maybe someone carrying some sort of large package. Or maybe a trolley or suitcase? Wait. An adult probably wouldn't fit in a large suitcase, would they? You have a vivid imagination. Mind your own business. Nico throws a cold look in my direction. I'm fine with Nico helping you, but I think we should redirect the surveillance efforts a little. I'm joining up with it anyway, so don't make it sound like you've got a say in it. It'll be fine. We need a juicy excuse for as a cover for being there, or else you're bound to raise suspicion. Well, I've already gathered some ideas as far as you're concerned. Nico, this isn't the internet. If someone realizes about you, that's it. No more second chances. Blah blah blah, as if you're selling the local internet expert. Hurry up and go phone shopping. You'll pay for it. I'm broke. Fine. I'll try to get back before dark. Remember to look left and right before crossing the road. Unable to come up with anything witty, Justin throws a look at Nico before hurrying out of the store. Okay, that jerk's finally gone. Don't say that. He takes his work seriously. Work without a brain isn't effective no matter how hard you try. Don't let him hear you. I guess that part's system already to give him a sneak peek when he comes back. He's gonna like it. You ask him up just shows how much trust he puts in you. Your work matters, Nico. And as always, you're gonna lean back and watch us work, and enjoy the show, and get used to it. Stop trying to talk me out of things. I said from the start that I'll let you decide for yourself, didn't I? When did you start turning to the grumpy old grandpa? I didn't want Justin to mess up our investigation. Scarlett's still hard at work. We don't need something else down our plate. Speaking of Scarlett, just how much influence did she have on your plan? The Kingery district's full of cheap housing residents who don't know anything but their rights. It's an easy to make changes adjustments like the cameras and pass them off as something completely normal. Well, whether setting up cameras or question people, I don't really see the point. Of course, surveillance only makes sense if a killer is still around, carrying out this business. That would mean knowingly putting people in danger. Either way you look at it, it's quite heartless. I'm just worried we'll be misled by some surveillance. I have a feeling Justin's prone to jumping to hasty conclusions. Are you questioning Justin's abilities? It's just he's concerned with what people are potentially capable of. In my opinion, your approach to solving cases isn't much like this is much smarter. But please, don't forget why we fled Mato. She knows there's no way for me to answer the why, but then again, it's not like she expects the answer. A body's hard to move or lift with the right tools. Since the killer probably won't be staying in one place at a time, we might catch a glimpse of him set on surveillance. And other people might not even notice him, right? There are some weird places in that area for everything to be a coincidence, but it's still looking like a needle in a haystack. So, do you think your killer might not be human? I mean, things pulled off. Him having wings almost sounds like the most plausible explanation. What with the marks along the stairs? If it wasn't a human who committed the murder, who installed the chain lock to the rooftop? Who knows? Those things are never quite as they seem. Either way, I'll take a trip with Justin tomorrow and see if we can find out a little bit more. You just ran away. Do you really think it's wise of you to roam the streets again? Who do you think I am? This town is built like a maze. It's impossible to find. You could tell them I'll be in the area tomorrow, and you still wouldn't find me. Come on, do you really think I pull a stunt like that? That was a metaphor, dummy. I have work to upstairs. If Justin comes back, bring me the phones, will ya? Don't rummage through my computer. Yeah. How many more times are you gonna tell me that? As I sneak into the store, I can hear her mumbling to herself, quietly complaining about everything and everyone. She has a lot of complicated work to do tonight, and it would be very unwise to interrupt her. She's probably gonna use some tools, tinker around here and there, a little handiwork with a blowtorch, a solder iron, and won't blow up half the building again, right? I've tripped over something several times already tonight. Back in the day, people didn't have that problem. I guess the cheaper light sources became, the less people were willing to accept pardon with it. At least things have finally calmed downstairs again. The way Nico was yelling at Justin just scares the hell out of me. It's like she has a personal vendetta against him. Luckily, everything seems back on track right now. Just travels downstairs, knocks on my door. I pick up Nico in the morning, okay? Better ask for yourself. I don't want to speak for her. It's not me who's going after all. Sure you can't help? You'll always have more person. It'd be good to have more person come along. Yeah, they're just out there. And find a way to protect your companions on your own work. On your own. You shouldn't rely on others for that. Besides, you're fully aware of my situation. It's fine for me to stay in Hermitage, but if I come with you, that's just begging for you to stop us. Well, if it's so dangerous for you, I'll think of something else. Give up that easily? Actually, my sources are very limited, and I don't quite understand the details. All the reason for me not to get involved, wouldn't you say? Good point, yeah. Sorry. Never mind. I'm not sure where you heard about this whole thing, but I'm just as curious as you are. Really? I thought you were the type just to ask help from anyone. Why would you think that? Because you're stubborn? Fine, I was wrong. What exactly do you want to know? I can snoop around. Not necessary. Just tell me one thing, huh? Who is Mr. Lang to you? Who thought the legendary detective had taken an apprentice? To be honest, I found it only by coincidence. What do you mean? What do you want from my master? Nothing, I'm just curious. With a guy like that on your side, why did you ask me for help instead of him? I'm not as experienced as he is. I can't leave the store. I might be talented, but what good does that do me if I never step out into the real world and actually put that talent to use? So there has to be a reason, right? Just like a master, I have problems of my own. That doesn't really explain anything. Do we really have to talk about this? Nico's found a way to handle this, and I want to stop her. But you better at alternatives than us to ask for help. And I don't know why you chose us instead. You're really stubborn. Sorry, that's just who I am. I can't afford acting and responsibility when people depend on me. The truth is, there was never an alternative in the first place. That old man's just a name to me now. He's done a lot of bad things, and in my opinion, he's a typical detective. I got to know that side of him when I was working alongside of him. That's why I came to you for help. But why? He's been to the Kangaroo District. What? He went there years ago. It was a miserable case. The victim's family camped in front of his house for almost 3 days and nights, begging him to solve the case. The higher-ups had all but abandoned already. He didn't succeed. He ran away. After a week investigating behind my back, I don't know exactly what he found out. But you can't just turn your back to clients like that. You owe them an explanation. I tried my best to talk him out of it, but he decided to pack up and move out of the house overnight. He'd always been very strict with me, teaching me what a detective should and shouldn't do. But in the end, it was he himself who didn't have the courage to face the problem head-on, choose to avoid instead. We're detectives, and it's our job to find answers. He doesn't deserve his reputation if he can't even do that. I decided to part ways with him that day. Been on my own ever since. Why are you still a private investigator to this day? He thinks he's everything people make him out to be, but he's living a lie. That's it. Even if I'm not happy with the work I'm doing right now, it's still a lot better than working for him. Now, you should be able to understand why I came to you. See you tomorrow. Just picks his briefcase, turns around and leaves. The atmosphere is turned to rather cold, and I scratch my neck absent-mindedly, not knowing what to say anymore. Well, I guess you're to say. Everyone has their own burden to carry. Alright, let's read the internet here. Oh boy. What's that, a quadruple post? Nope, it's more than that. Nope, it's more than that. Looks like the forum is taken over by ads. With all this unintelligible nonsense, do these kinds of advertisements even work? It doesn't look as if I'll find anything here today. That's not even code, it's just... Yeah, I don't know what that even is. That's not even code. And we'll look through all of them just to make sure there's nothing hidden. Don't see anything obvious. I'm not gonna read through all of them, but might as well skim through them. Multiple choice, yes, no, he calls. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I mean, it's not really even an advertisement, it's just spam. I'm sure there's something hidden here, but... very much looks like it's just spam. Yeah. Yeah, man, he's charging $180 a month. That was in 2013. Wow. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in here. So it is weird to me that, this one
He's there. But why is that one 2015 and the rest of them 2017? How does that happen? Well, that's interesting. I assume that's... Well, no. Because the last post is from 2017. Yeah, for some reason these are all from 2015? No idea. Anything on the TV? Nope. Alright. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of Hermitage here. I guess when we go back, we'll, our next episode, we'll actually, set up some security cameras. But until then, peace.